Hi, Trevor here, reflecting on life through music. Welcome and thank you for stopping by. It's fantastic you are here. Well, I trust you enjoyed my last video on 80s icons Duran Duran, and through their song Ordinary World, we looked at how we can live and walk forward with loss. So I trust you found that one an encouragement. Well, we're going from there to a bunch of guys that were formed in 1968 in London, Hertford. When you think about these names, such iconic names in the world of music, because these guys, together with Led Zeppelin and Black Sabbath, very much influenced hard rock from here on in. We have, of course, in the rhythm section, Roger Glover on bass and Ian Pace on drums. And of course, you cannot have a band as good as these guys are without a solid rhythm section. And these guys well and truly created that for this band. We then got John Lord on keyboards. Now, of course, probably before these guys, keyboards weren't as prominent as they are now. And so John Lord very much ushered in the classic Hammond organ sound to complement and to fill in the sound. We then got Richie Blackmore on guitar, and because of this incredible three underneath him, he was able to do all sorts of intricate and amazing and incredible things on his guitar. This guy was an absolute genius, and he's been described as someone who was never really knew where he was going to go, and because of that, he was a genius on the guitar. And of course, to be able to carry a vocal above all of that, you need someone absolutely incredible, and you've got Ian Gillan to do that. So we put those five names together. Who are we talking about? Deep Purple. Very influential, these guys. These are hard rock music royalty right here. But of course, and very much pioneers in the whole hard rock sound to a certain extent. And very much progressive rock, blues rock, and constant tourists. And of course, when you're talking about hard rock, you're talking about absolute angst and power. This is the compellingness of Deep Purple. VH1's put these guys as the 22nd of the 100 greatest hard rock acts of all time. These guys received the World Music Award in 2008 and an Ivor Novello Award, that's very significant there, 2018. And they were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame finally. I think that's the word we need to put in there. They were eligible in 1993 to become part of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but they weren't inducted until 2016. But it's great to see that these guys are in there because they well and truly need to be. It's between 1968 and 2021, there were 21 studio albums, 45 live albums. That's a lot of live albums, actually. 28 compilation albums, 15 video albums, 45 singles. And it's estimated these guys have sold over 100 million albums. And so that's very, very successful in the scheme of hard rock, in fact, music in general. Now, I'll get onto the music clips in a minute, but when you think about Deep Purple, there's one guitar riff that you think of in particular. Now, of course, if I had a guitar, I'd play it, but I can't actually play guitar, so I'll try and hum it for you. Ba 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 da, ba 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 ba. Got that one? That was me trying to be a distorted guitar, by the way. Nowhere near as good as Richie. But the minute you hear that, you kind of know that these are the guys where that riff came from. And the song we're talking about, of course, is Smoke on the Water. Such an iconic song, this one. It's a song that the guitar riff that has been played way too many times when people are trying guitars out in music shops. But it's just a riff that everybody knows and every guitarist wants to try and play. Of course, you're never going to get as good as the master Richie Blackmore on this one, but Smoke on the Water is an iconic song in the world of music. came off the Machine Head album of 1972. Now, the story behind this one is a little bit intriguing. You wonder, well, what's it about? Well, as Deep Purple says themselves, all you got to do is listen to the lyrics and know exactly where this song is coming from. The story goes that they were in the Montreux Casino. The Montreux Casino was closing down, maybe for renovations. But these guys were going to do the recording there because they just felt right, like it was the right space for the Machine Head album of 1972. And the comment made of seeing Frank Zappa, the iconic Frank Zappa, playing as well. Of course, in 1968, these guys were only really getting started, really, and so what? But what happened was that the casino burnt down just as they were about to start recording, and so therefore smoke on the water, because the casino was kind of in a bit of a water scene. And so, and then I think there's fire in the sky as well. And so, that's where Smoke on the Water came from. And how frustrating would it have been to have be all ready to go, and then to have the recording venue burned down? Would have been a bit frustrating, I'm thinking. Well, the West is history, and they did end up recording the Machine Head album despite that. But I think the thing that I found quite intriguing about Smoke on the Water was, for a start, we got one of the most iconic guitar riffs of all time in this song. This song is just so recognisable and so well known, and well and truly, when you think of Deep Purple, this is the song you think of. But I just wonder about this concept of distraction and delay. I'm sure they would have thought, oh my goodness, what? But, when these things resonate a little bit, and, songwriters as these guys are, they find anything to inspire them, really. And if it wasn't for that fire, I feel sorry for the Montreux Casino here, because it goes down in history as the reason Smoke on the Water got written. But the concept of distraction and delay, it's almost like, hey, we're going to record this album, we need to do it now, we're all ready to go, when it's all really, really good. And we get so fixated on the final product that we forget the journey a little bit. Well, as what happens in this particular case, the journey got delayed and distracted. In fact, it got completely disrupted, and they had to go somewhere else. I'm wondering in life how often we give space to this stuff. We might be all set to go and we're going to do our thing, and then all of a sudden there's a distraction and a delay, and we think, oh, really? But sometimes we might need to take a detour. But what? There's something about detours, though, that can take us into unexpected places we weren't really expecting to go. And we think, oh, okay, so actually I'm glad I'm here after all that. And so we think, well, yeah, I'm glad of this distraction. I'm glad of this delay. I'm glad that my life has taken me into a place where I wasn't expecting. And I think often in life, it is in the unexpected moments where we really find out how cool and exciting life can be, and how cool and exciting distractions can be at times. I think it's important to realise that if you do find yourself distracted by or delayed, just think, well, what's the learnings I can take here? What can I learn that I wouldn't have learned if the distraction didn't take place in the first place? And treat it as a learning experience, treating it as an opportunity to expand yourself and to learn more about yourself. Because if the distraction wasn't there, we wouldn't have had to worry. But because the distraction is there, we do. So, I remember, driving out on the road, one of the pleasures I have when I'm driving is finding the detours and the distractions, and we go off on a tangent somewhere, and for me that's some of the best times I've ever had. So we don't want life to be so predictable. We need it to be shaken up from time to time, and we need to experience all that life has to offer. And if that means delving into the unknown, so be it. And I'm sure if it wasn't for this fire in Montreux, we would never have got Smoke on the Water, and we would never have got this iconic guitar riff. On to the clips. So, of course, we've got Smoke on the Water. This came off the Machine Head album of 1972. The iconic guitar riff is here. And this is a live version. And you see Ian at the start here just gave a little bit of a story behind the song as well. But this is Deep Purple in their absolute element here, playing a classic song, or one of the classic songs of all time. And so that one's there for you. We've also got Child in Time. This came off Deep Purple and Rock in 1970. This is very early on in the career. Now, when we think about, first of all, the organ that John was doing, we think about how amazing Ian's voice is here, or how amazing his voice is generally. But to be able to pull off this vocal, this is a masterclass in hard rock singing right here. This is a masterclass in passion and pulsating vocals. This is a masterclass in how to produce the vocals and to gradually build and build and build them. And this is also a masterclass in progressive rock, when the band does this incredible thing in the middle and everyone's just so together the whole time. This is what made Deep Purple so iconic, and certainly many bands have, including bands I'm thinking like Toto, that do this sort of thing as well. Everybody moving at the same time in absolutely ferocious pace. Child in Time is quite haunting. I find myself just, my brain just going to this that Ian Gillan does here, and then he screams it out. It's just such a compelling thing to watch. So this is a masterclass in hard rock singing right here. His range is amazing. Let's just leave it at that as well. And such power and passion. And I thought, well, I wanted to get something pretty peltingly quick with Deep Purple, so I've gone for the album Burn. That came off the album of the same name of 1974. And here we see Richie Blackmore doing his thing so well, and just what makes him an absolute master on the guitar, one of the best ever, really. And so we've got Burn. That's a live version of that one. So that's there for you as well. So the links to all of those three songs are in the description below. And I've also included, and it seemed completely different to Deep Purple, but I have included my video from Duran Duran last time. So if you want to recap on that one, feel free. Well, that's it for today. If you've come back for another video when we've looked at distractions and delays and the power of them, or if this is your first time to Life Reflections Through Music, thank you to everyone for hanging around, and I really appreciate the engagement we're getting on this channel. And so that's it for today. Next time we're going to go on to Creedence Clearwater Revival. You notice that even though I'm in D, this is going back to C, because I went through the C's and did not do these guys. Oh my goodness, where was my brain? Because these guys were one of the biggest billers at Woodstock, John Fogerty and the guys. And so we're going to go back and do Creedence Clearwater Revival, because you just have to do them, really, because of their iconic status in the world of music. So they're coming up next time. So until then, I'll catch you around. Bye for now.